Welcome to episode 3 of Basic AF, a college football podcast for newbies and fanatics.
I'm not a newbie.
You are very much a newbie.
I've watched the sport my whole entire life.
Yes.
I have just never paid much attention.
Oh, there you go. So that's the whole point of the podcast is that you will pay more attention. And you have been. You've been taking copious notes. You've been watching lots of college football. Now we're here at the end of the season. The national championship game is upon us in Atlanta. Notre Dame and Ohio State. That's coming up Monday night there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Are you excited?
Yeah. Well, I like a good end of the season. I'm excited to see how the game plays out and how the season ends. It's always an exciting time.
Okay, but before we get there, I've been on the road tired, and I went to the American Football Coaches Association annual convention, whatever you want to call it.
And the most important thing to point out, my favorite airport in the country.
Charlotte Airport. I luckily didn't have any issues there this time, which is a rarity these days. But
did you sit in a rocking chair? The people want to know.
I did not. I have no interest in doing that.
That's the best part.
That would, if anything, would hurt my butt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went there. There's 9,000 coaches there from high school to every level of college football, of course.
See, I don't even think I realized it was high school, high school and up. I think I thought it was just college.
If you have a whistle, you're allowed in.
So I could go. I have a whistle.
You do have a whistle. You also have some flags.
I do have some flags.
More on that down the road. But went down there, and most of us, dealing with FBS coaches, assistant coaches, head coaches. Ran into a lot of folks I know, some I haven't met before, and got to meet again. Went to several parties and get-togethers, and tested my liver. But I maintained a pretty solid baseline. I didn't overdo it, so I can do my job, of course. But it's a lot of socializing.
Yeah.
And only wrote one story from there, which is not the point. The point's to go and talk to people in my sources.
Get those sweet phone numbers.
Yeah, those sweet phone numbers. Okay.
For your sources and stuff, you got to get some more sources and fill up that contacts list.
Yes, but the AFCA head coaches, the head coaches of the FBS, had their meeting at the end.
Okay.
And they discussed some rule changes, but mostly they just focused for 4 hours on the need to change the transfer portal window. We've talked about that on the show already. And right now it's 2 windows, one in December for 20 days and another one in April for 10 days. Well, the head coaches want to shrink that down to 1 window only in January and for 10 days, where players could only enter the portal for 10 days. The idea behind this one is shrink those 2 windows down because it's just way too spread out, not enough time to do things, especially during spring practice and bowl season. The primary thing, though, is that they want to stop roster attrition during the bowl season.
Yeah.
A lot of teams were just negatively affected by that. In fact, Marshall had to pull out of their bowl game, the Independence Bowl, because their head coach left the program, and after he left, a lot of players entered the transfer portal, and they just didn't have enough really to go play a bowl game. So they pulled out of the bowl game, and coaches don't want to be dealing with that. There's several teams out there that kind of had to think about that, about pulling out, but they didn't. We'll see if this gets pushed along. Everything's about red tape and bureaucracy. Bureaucracy. I can't even say that word.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, and I don't think there is a very good shot at this getting passed, to be quite honest.
Do you think it would be a good move?
Yes. I don't know if January is the right time because everything's about the academic calendar and when kids enroll and all that, but I think that it probably is a good move. They need to do it sometime, quote unquote, before a semester starts, but also when the season's not going on. And that's very difficult because every school's campuses don't necessarily start at the same time in January. But they need to do something.
And I guess if you still do it in January, you don't really have to worry about kids going to through the playoff, like the upper levels of the playoff. They're probably not going to enter the portal.
Right.
I mean, would that be a safe bet?
Yeah, a lot of them stick around anyway. And also, the way it is now, and I think it would extend to this, is that if you're playing the playoff, you have 5 days after your last bowl game to still enter. So
that would not be part of the change?
So, for example, Notre Dame and Ohio State still playing. They'll have those players can still enter the portal up to 5 days, I believe, after their game,
regardless of when the set window is for everybody else.
Right?
Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay.
And there's other
that's good.
There's other issues that arise, of course, like when a football coach gets fired or a coach changes, head coach changes. players are allowed 30 days to enter the portal.
Okay.
So they can sit back and think about, do I want to stay here? Who's the next coach going to be? Do I
Right.
fit in this? Okay, I'm entering the portal.
And so no proposed changes on that front.
Nothing like that.
Okay.
It's just this 10-day thing. But now it has to go up to the rules committee, and then they have to talk about it and then pass that along, if they like it, to the D1 Council, which is ultimately the body that will vote on whether to adopt this. The feeling is it's not going to happen, or at the very least, there's going to be a lot of tweaks to it. So we'll see. But that was kind of the newsy thing that came out of there. And something else newsy came out of there from me running into another head coach. We'll talk about that later in the show. But listen, it's championship week. The national championships here. I haven't been to a national championship game in 11 years. 11
was it when
years.
Auburn went?
Yeah,
Was
Auburn.
the last one?
Florida State. Jimbo Fisher was still the head coach at Florida State. Gus Malzahn at Auburn. And
Was that
the
at
Rose
the
Bowl.
Rose Bowl? Yeah, that was your first
beautiful.
time at the Rose Bowl, wasn't
It's
it?
beautiful.
He loves it. Loves it. It's gorgeous out there.
Gorgeous.
That's all you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. Like, the first time going, I can understand why the Rose Bowl just does not want to give up on their New Year's Day game in the mid-afternoon, because the sun sets there and it's beautiful and
it's
everything.
gorgeous.
And again, to me, like in college baseball, the season always ends in Omaha.
Yeah.
They just need to make the national championship game always set at the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And see if they'd be willing to just say, listen, get rid of your January 1st crap. We understand you New Year's Day, blah, blah. You can still do your New Year's Day parade, but you're going to get the national championship every single year, in mid-January to late January, and we'll play it mid-afternoon if we have to.
Okay.
Don't play it on a Monday like they do now. Play it on a Saturday.
Nobody wants a Monday game.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Everything else is changing in college football. Why can't we do something like that?
Make the people happy.
You can brand that so easily. The road to Pasadena.
Yeah.
The road to the Rose Bowl, and that's everybody's stuck in their old ways. They want an old Big Ten Pac-12 matchup, which Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore, but yet they got a former Pac-12 team in there that's in the Big Ten this year, so it's all okay. Yeah, stop hanging on to the past. It's going to kill you. All right.
Tell us how you really feel, though.
It's just too many old fogies out there wanting everything to remain the same. I understand protecting tradition, but it's a frickin' bowl game. It's not a university. It's not a human being. It's not a living thing.
Well, and how much more traditional can you get than the Rose Bowl, right?
And then put the best game.
Combine the traditions. Get it out
Whatever.
there.
Okay. So let's
Take a deep breath.
Yeah, let's get in the show. Okay. All right. I'm still a paper guy. I like looking at paper. So we got our show notes here, and all that. I want to start off with this. Did you see this? Did you know about this? I feel like Jay Leno. You know about this? Yeah. What do we? All right.
What do you know about this?
So, Penn State defensive coordinator Tom Allen kind of surprised everybody. He took the defensive coordinator job at Clemson.
Yeah.
And understandably so. I actually ran into one of his daughters.
Really?
At the convention talking to some agents. She works for an agency.
Oh.
Had no idea it was her. And we brought up Tom Allen.
Okay.
Or whatever. We're talking to the agents or whatever. And one of the agents goes, this is one of Tom Allen's daughters right here. And we're like, whoo. Glad I didn't say anything bad. I don't have anything bad to say about Tom Allen. But you know what I mean? You're sitting there like, oh my gosh, the person that they know is right there. But he says the reason why he left is because he wanted to be closer to family. His two daughters, including the daughter I spoke to, they both live in the Carolinas area, North Carolina and South Carolina. One of his daughters is about to have a kid.
Baby.
And we were actually talking. I was actually talking about that with the other daughter in Charlotte at the AFCA convention. So small world. Coaching fraternity is always small world. And people start almost ridiculing Tom Allen a little bit because at his press conference he got a little choked up. Yeah, I get pissed off when people do this stuff.
Don't
Oh
do
my
that.
God, how dare he show emotion? So this is what Tom Allen said. Here's a quote from him, courtesy of the Greenville News. Our girls, they cried when they found out I was taking this job because, and then this is when Allen started choking up, we're close, so those kind of things, you just can't replace them. And life's short, and I don't want to take anything for granted. And then he later said, I know not everyone's going to understand it, and I respect that. It's about my family and the timing of it all. This brought up an interesting conversation among some coaches, at the convention about work-life balance.
Yeah.
And those coaches are like, what work-life balance? There's no such thing.
Right.
And a lot of coaches also say, I heard some coaches saying, and I think someone even said it publicly, so my mistake for not knowing who it was, saying that there's no such thing as a present father. As a head coach, you're an absentee father, which my good buddy Rhett Lashley responded on Twitter to that goes, yes, you can be a present father still, because I know Red is very much so. He like hurries home to see his kids all the time, his 2 sets of twins. So, but that's a common thing you hear from coaches. Like, I just don't get to see my family. And I think a lot of coaches, because of the NIL stuff and the portal, and it's just taking more time out of their day, a lot more coaches are stepping away totally, or they're becoming coordinators. They don't want to be head coaches anymore.
Right.
We've seen it with one coach in the national championship game right now, Chip Kelly, head coach at UCLA, steps down, goes, I'm going to be a coordinator at Ohio State. I'm going to go call plays. Gus Malzahn, UCF, steps down. I'm going to go call plays at Florida State, and I don't have to go on the road recruiting and do all that stuff. But what do you think? What do you think of that? A coach just saying, screw it. I'm going to go. I'm leaving. I'm going to be close to the family.
You know what? At a certain point, I'm not at a certain point. I'm for it. All you have is this life, and you have to do what's best for you and your family. Some parts of your life, that's going to be out there hustling, working hard, hitting that recruiting trail, being at the facilities from probably dark to dark.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, taking naps on your desk at some point.
No one's taking naps.
Well, I like to envision they're like sneaking out.
No, I mean they get.
I know.
A lot of coaches get there right before daylight, and they don't leave till that night.
I know.
Some coaches. So the other thing is, I'll say this: like Dabo Sweeney's the type of coach where they have work-life balance there. Like he's like, you're not staying in here past this hour.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this has changed or not, but he was also he makes headlines for a lot of things because he does things differently. They didn't.
Well, it works.
Right. I
mean, they're second in the ACC this year.
Yeah. There you go.
See.
Actually, first in the ACC. They won the championship over SMU. That's how they got in the playoff.
Okay, my bad.
But in the standings, they were in the regular season, so you're technically correct. But like,
both right.
In recruiting, they didn't used to host recruits on campus in the spring because he's like, I want my coaches to like not have to deal with that. So come visit us in the summer.
Yeah,
And obviously it's worked out. I know, but the thing is, like, Clemson's not winning national championships anymore, or even in the championship games. So people are like, it's not working. Like they've been hesitant to even use a transfer portal. They started finally using it this year. They're picking up several kids. Used to be they just got like preferred walk-ons from the portal, like one guy. Like in fact, one player was a former Clemson quarterback who transferred to Northwestern and then said, I want to come back to Clemson as a walk-on. They said, okay, sure. And that was their transfer portal pickup for the year. Okay. Meanwhile, you had schools picking up an average about 15 to 20 guys a year, or if you're Arizona State or even Colorado, 50 to 60. And Clemson's like, we're just going to do things differently. So kudos to Tom Allen and anybody giving him crap.
Happy for his family, man. Yeah. That's a lot. And he brought his son along.
Yeah, he gets to be on staff with them.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about this because I saw that he was an analyst with him previously.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that
his
was
son?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I saw that in the Greenville News article. Bear with me here. This is not a smart question. This is very basic level question.
There's no dumb questions, just dumb people.
Okay. Well, decide where I fall on that spectrum after this. I've never really understood what the difference is between an analyst and like one of the coaches that's like a supportive role type coach. So what's going to change for his son? Like,
all right.
Moving from an analyst to a linebackers coach, I think it's
and I don't even know if that's actually going to be a linebackers coach or if he's still going to be an analyst helping with the linebackers. All right, so there's a rule change in the last year or two. Like, you can have unlimited coaches now coaching on the field. Used to be it was limited to 10 assistants and one head coach. Now it's like an analyst can be on the practice field coaching players, moving them around, doing all that type of stuff. So really an analyst is pretty much like an assistant to the position coach that he's overseeing. So like if you're an analyst and you focus on the offensive line a lot, you're pretty much an assistant offensive line coach. You're helping out the other offensive line coach. Some analysts, their role is just to sit in the film room and dissect other teams and look for tendencies and stuff like that, and they share their notes with position coaches or coordinators or even the head coach and present things. It's like a war room type thing. Like
so really truly just analyzing and not making decisions.
Like I scouted 3 opponents on our schedule next year, and I found out some tendencies here. And they're like, okay, put in the binder, put in the big. I mean, these guys build all this stuff up. So I don't know exactly what he'll be doing there, but maybe he will be an on the field coach.
Put in that Greenville News.
I saw it too, the linebackers thing, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't know they had another opening, but maybe they will because they fired their defensive coordinator, and obviously when you bring in a new DC, they're probably going to want to bring their own staff.
Well, regardless, I think it's a great move for the family. I'm happy for them, and anybody who's talking trash about that, look at your priorities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like, listen, I like to grind too, And, I've been away from you guys.
Listen,
And, even before being a national writer, covering beats, it's just even as a writer, it's like.
well, that's kind of how I know. But you were up there. You weren't up there as much. Figured out how much
Yeah.
how much you were on in the days.
Yeah. And
We were in Auburn.
And I was getting the student analyst type pay to be a journalist, but I was up there the entire time doing it for decades. All right, moving on. Enough about that. Whatever. I love what I do. So national championships coming up. We're going to talk about. We're going to give predictions. We're actually going to go through some interesting prop bets. I'm interested to see what you brought up because I gave you a link to check out. So we'll see what you figured out. All right. So also at the AFCA convention, right? I bumped into several coaches, including Brian Kelly, and a lot of these head coaches, especially SEC, Big Ten, they make a beeline to like, I gotta get the hell out of here. I am not talking to reporters. I am getting in my SUV Yukon and someone's driving me to the airport and I'm going home. I'll be home in 2 hours while you sit here and boil over your notebook, you little nerd.
Hey, good news for you. You're used to that behavior, so you're not afraid to chase.
I'm not afraid to chase these guys down.
Chase them.
I have literally ran after guys before.
Oh yeah.
Because listen, I don't care how I look or how I sound because I know fans want to know information and they don't care how they get it.
Want to know?
Now, I'm not going to cross a line. I'm not going to tackle a coach or slash his tires, make sure he can't leave the hotel. I'm not going to do that. But I bumped into Brian Kelly, the LSU head coach, who, as you guys know, coached Notre Dame for 12 years, was previously there before Marcus Freeman took over. And Marcus Freeman's got Notre Dame in the national championship game, first time since 2012 when Brian Kelly was the head coach there, and they got blown out by Alabama. So Notre Dame going for its first national championship since 1988. Can Marcus Freeman do it in his third year? He'll be the third Notre Dame head coach to do it in his third year if he wins it.
Crazy symmetry.
It's crazy. But Brian Kelly couldn't do it at Notre Dame, right? And so I asked him, what's he think? And he said, quote, "I'm happy for all those guys. I pull for them. A lot of the guys there that are on both sides of the ball, I recruited. Obviously, I want to see those guys win it all, and I think they're in a great position. Totally excited for those guys." Now, of course, this pissed off Notre Dame fans, and they went back and even dug up how many guys did he actually recruit and how many guys he actually played for. And I think someone actually dug up the numbers. It's actually a healthy amount. It's like 15 to 17 kids, on the
from
2
From
3 years ago. And that's pretty good. The transfer portal
pretty
era.
Great.
So a lot of those guys are making impacts still and are still there. But here's the big thing. All right. I don't know if I have the quote here.
I have it right here.
Do you?
I do.
Okay.
Is that the one you're looking for?
No, that's from a previous thing. I wanted the quote that he told me, sweetheart.
Oh, okay. My bad.
That's from a year ago.
Oh, sorry.
Imagine if I could find that. But anyway, so 3 years ago when he took over at LSU, he said something that kind of stirred everybody up. As I said, stirred the echoes. Like Notre Dame's saying is "wake the echoes." So
I didn't know that.
Stir the echoes.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody caught that other than me. He said he wanted to be, quote, "to be in an environment where I have the resources to win a national championship." So he said that, and everybody was like, "You SOB, how dare you say that? You could have won one here and you quit on us, blah, blah, blah." Well, one of his big issues there was that he wanted a football facility, and they were dragging their feet on it. It took them 5 years to actually get some headway on that. He didn't like it. And I'm trying to pull up this article while I talk and do all this. He didn't like that, right? And so all these Notre Dame fans were like, "Yeah, sayonara, bro. We don't care. We're glad you're gone. You couldn't win us a national championship." And then also, if you look at, his record and everything, the bad thing is that he only won one game.
He went 1-7 against top
five teams. Marcus Freeman in his third year already has three. Including 2 here this playoff.
Yep.
So, all right. So I asked Brian Kelly, I go, "Listen, those comments you said that you went somewhere to win a national championship, people are going to throw it in your face." And he kind of bit back at me, and he said, "I did say that." And I said, "I know, but they're throwing it in your face." And then he said, quote, "They're selling it the way they want to sell it."
Uh-oh.
Why do you leave Notre Dame? You leave Notre Dame because you're taking another challenge. I took Notre Dame to championships. It's just the way you want to twist it. You only leave Notre Dame to go win a championship? I wasn't leaving Notre Dame because I couldn't win a championship. You can win championships at Notre Dame. But I chose another path because I wanted a different challenge.
There you have it.
Is he gaslighting everybody, or is he just like, hey, I did what I wanted for me? There's probably a better way to say it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what he's trying to say. There's a better way to say it. I think he should say something like, listen, I did everything I could to win a national championship at Notre Dame, and for some reason, I just wasn't the answer. And I think at LSU, I might be able to win one here based off of just how everything's set up and where I am in my life right now. And that doesn't mean Notre Dame's not going to win a national championship here in the next few years. The next guy coming in is probably going to be able to tap into something maybe that I didn't. But he didn't say that.
He didn't say it that
had
way.
multiple chances to say that. And coaches all have egos, right? They're just not going to admit to their faults if they have faults. I mean, you can't show weakness in this profession, I guess is what I'm saying.
And he also mentioned that he was frustrated with the facilities progress at Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned, the football facility, yeah.
So
apparently that's not an issue now.
Was it an issue back then? Because I don't know a lot about Notre Dame. It's like this enigma in my mind because they're not part of a conference. They're independent, blah, blah, all this. In my mind, though, they just have buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of money.
Oh, they do.
To throw at facilities and always have had. So were facilities ever really an issue, or was that kind of like I'm kind of frustrated with the facilities?
He was upset that they just dragging their feet on something they had promised. Like it was taking longer to build something than it was taking. But
the existing facilities were probably okay.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
is
good.
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I've never been to South Bend. I hope to go someday.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But hey, there you have it. I don't know what to say other than that's what Brian Kelly said, and that's for you to judge. Otherwise, I don't want to say one thing or another to sound like I'm in favor of Brian Kelly or I'm going to guess what he said because, it's going to piss someone off anyway. I'm a reporter. I'm not like writing a column or anything like that, so it is what it is. Okay. Speaking of beef. All right. Lou Holtz. He of 89 years old.
Bless him.
Former Arkansas, Minnesota, Notre Dame head coach, New York Jets head coach, former ESPN game day commentator and all that stuff. Yeah, he left the Jets to come to Arkansas back in the 70s. All right, so if you're not familiar, I'm sure you are if you're a fanatic, but if you're a newbie like Amanda, Lou Holtz kind of criticized Ryan Day about a year ago. Now, remember, Notre Dame faced Ohio State in the regular season a year ago, right? Ohio State won. But before the game, Lou Holtz was saying that Ohio State just isn't a tough team. That all the teams that have beaten Ryan Day's teams at Ohio State is because they're tougher or whatever. Well, Ryan Day, that pissed Ryan Day off. And he went off after they beat Notre Dame. I want you to put these headphones on. We're going to watch this and listen to this. This is how Ryan Day responded. We'll put our what do they call these in the industry?
I don't know, but in first grade they call them listening ears.
Yeah, there you go. All right, listening ears.
Huge day late in this game, and it's time to hear from his head coach, who's standing by with Catherine Tappan.
Yes. Watch this.
Coach, you knew this one wasn't going to be easy, but it came down to the wire. And what can you say about the performance from your quarterback, Kyle McCord, to finish that drive?
Toughness, that's it. Physicality, across the board, finish it off, having guts. I like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
What did they prove to you tonight in this victory that you'll take away?
We're going to protect us. Everybody's questioning these kids all the time. We had one bad half the last couple years. That's it. Everybody wants to question these guys. These guys are warriors right here. To come back and win, this kid right here to come back in the second half and win, I'm emotional about this for a reason. A lot of people question these kids and say a lot of things about them. I love them. And when someone attacks your family, to come in and win like this is special. It's a great win for our program and a great win for Ohio State.
That's right.
Did he just do a come find me in the parking lot, Lou Holtz?
Yeah. When an 89-year-old man attacks your family, what are you going to do about it? You go on national television, you tell him, hey, buddy.
I'm going to ask him if Peepaw needs a nap and just move on with my day, I think. I don't think I'm going to come for Lou Holtz. My gosh.
So here we are a year plus later, right? The beef continues.
I love it. I mean, it makes for good.
A reporter asked Ryan Day in a press conference this week, hey, if you had a chance to talk to Lou Holtz and smooth everything over, his response, no. That was it. Moved on. Well, Lou Holtz is still talking because that guy, DGAF, as the kids say. And what's interesting is that even last year, Lou Holtz was actually kind of being soft about it all, going, listen, man, I don't have anything against Ryan Day.
Well, what he said originally wasn't even that bad.
But
it was just kind of a critique about how the season had gone.
coaches always look for something to motivate their
know.
guys.
What do they call that? When they like print out the articles and put them up in the locker room.
Bulletin board material.
There we go.
Yeah. So listen, Lou Holtz said what he said, but Lou Holtz even said afterward, like, I think he's a great coach. I've enjoyed the job he's done there. And then someone asked Lou Holtz a year ago, hey, do you got bad feelings for Ryan Day or something, bruh? And he said, nothing is further from the truth on that. He's the one who exploded. Well, I mean, it's true.
It's true.
So anyway, Lou Holtz back at it again.
I love him.
This week. Not really saying anything too controversial, just saying that, I like Notre Dame in this game because they're tougher.
I love it. I'm a big Lou Holtz fan.
He also said that he wasn't going to go to the national championship game to watch Notre Dame, the team he once coached to a program he wants to coach to the national championship in 1988, because he's got a leg problem, right? He's 89 years old. Well, now he's like, I was going to be there in spirit, but now I'm going to be there with my body. I'm dragging my body to Atlanta to go to this national championship game.
He is going to find him in the parking lot.
We might see a fight. We might see an 89-year-old man.
Mike Tyson, Logan Paul fight.
Who's wearing the jock strap, and we get to see him from behind.
Those options.
Well, you brought it up.
No. Please, no.
You brought it up.
No, I love Lou Holtz. I just don't think the response that Ryan Day had, it was not an appropriate level response.
Listen, coaches always look for something, and when they're in their own bubble, I'm gonna tell you what, they find the weirdest things to get riled up about. And even then, I don't think a lot of people brought it up. You saw that video right before they go on air. You hear Ryan Day go, "Watch this!" Like, I'm gonna do something cool here, bruh.
I don't know if picking on an 89-year-old dude.
But the way he saw it was, hey, it's a Notre Dame legend. I don't care about age. He said we're soft. We weren't soft tonight. We beat Notre Dame. I can understand in the moment why you do that.
Yeah,
but,
I get it. And you're doing it to get your kids pumped up.
Sure.
Whatever.
And they still like that. That's a saying too. Ohio against the world. That's their big saying for the Buckeyes. And they've been on a roll here lately because they were pile driven into the turf by Michigan in that regular season finale. And the way they lost that game, their own fans were turning on them, booing Ryan Day, cussing him out from the stands. I remember sitting there and hearing that stuff there at the game. And then, of course, there was the fight between the rosters, which just was an embarrassing black mark on the program as well. And it just hadn't been good times. But here's Ohio State winning 3 straight to get to the national championship game and doing in impressive fashion. Offensively and defensively, they have awakened. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Having beef with Lou Holtz kind of adds to my beef with Ohio State, personally.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. I can't help it.
She is hungover from Ohio State beating Arkansas in the Sugar Bowl 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
14
And
to
it's
15?
not the fact that they beat Arkansas. It's the fact that season for Ohio State, the wins got vacated. And they didn't add the win to Arkansas. And I know that that's not how that works. I understand that, but I'm still mad about it.
Okay.
I'm still mad about it.
That's life, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm still salty.
Well, pour some sugar on me. So, speaking of sugar, Notre Dame won the Sugar Bowl. And
Hey,
then,
that was a great segue.
And then
Look at
won
that.
another bowl
Professional.
game, the Orange Bowl, to get to the national championship in Atlanta, where they grow peaches by the bundle. It's terrible.
Millions of peaches?
You know what? Peaches for free. You know what sounds good? Be a peach with like a little bit of sugar packet on it. That would probably be good. Okay, so Ohio State, Notre Dame, the game is here Monday night in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
This is amazing. Ohio State, an 8.5-point favorite.
Is it amazing, though? Because you're going to have that post-football season crash out you always have.
Oh, it sucks ass.
Yeah. He's so sad afterwards.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
But I'm going to enjoy it. First national championship game I've been to in 11 years. Buckeyes, 8.5-point favorites against Notre Dame. The over-under is 46.5. We're going to get picks on that. But I sent you a link, right? Okay.
You did, yeah.
With some betting odds from FanDuel, actually. They don't sponsor this. Of course, they wouldn't. No one watches this. But we have player props and some other bets. And there's a bunch of things you can bet on. I mean, you can bet on anything. You can bet on a shark eating a poker table.
I didn't see that on there.
Well, it should be on there.
Okay.
I'm not a betting guy. I don't think I've bet on a game since like 2005 overseas.
Is that how you had to do that?
Yeah,
then?
back then, yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
I did it once.
sketchy.
Lost. So, all right. I'm interested on all those prop bets. Tell me your first one that you would bet on.
Well, let me
at.
just first of all tell you, I've never looked at prop bets. I'm overwhelmed at all of the bets that are out there.
Me
that
too.
Is
that's
wild.
that's a lot of stuff you can bet on. Like I said, you can bet on a shark eating a poker table, or you can bet on Ryan Day picking a fight with Lou Holtz in the parking lot. I'm sure that's out there too.
That should be up there because I think it might happen. Lou, bring your security
I give that
detail.
like plus 1,400.
Okay, that's the other thing. I still don't understand betting language when there's like plus 1,400, plus 10,000, minus 8,000.
Yeah, you have to bet, or if you bet $100, you get $1,400 in winnings. If it's plus 1,400, something like that.
Can you repeat that slower?
If you bet $100 on plus 1,400,
Okay.
you get $1,400 if you win. For every $100 you
Okay, so what's the negative?
you got to bet that amount to get $100.
So if it's negative 800, you have to bet
$800 to win 100.
So you'd walk out with $900.
$900. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to think about that a little bit longer.
That's that betting wins. That's why they got the lights on in Vegas. House always wins. Okay.
Okay.
What tickled your fancy?
Well, I don't think it's a good bet, but I think it's an interesting bet. Let's see which one.
Okay.
Well, no, okay, because I wrote
So
down.
interesting she forgot.
No, I didn't forget the betting language influenced me. So give me just a second here.
Mm-hmm. Great. I said great. Keep going.
Yep, I know that tone. At least one field goal to be scored in each quarter, plus 1,200.
So you want that?
I think that's interesting. I think
So
that
at
could
least
happen.
one field goal scored. Doesn't matter the team.
The team
In each quarter.
in each quarter.
I could see that.
I could see
Both
that because
really good defenses.
I wrote good defenses.
Number 1 and number 2 in the nation.
Yeah.
Scoring defenses.
I think it's possible. I think it could happen. No,
I like that.
so wait. So
Bet
I would,
$100, you get $1,200. Win
yeah.
if that happens.
Let's bet it.
No. $100.
I do have $100. I don't want to put it on that though.
You hiding money.
I have a little Christmas money left over.
Oh boy. All right. I like this. Ohio State quarterback Will Howard to throw for 100 yards or more in each half.
Okay.
The odds on that are plus 152. The reason why I picked this is because he's thrown for 200 yards in every game but 2 this year. And this offense has been rolling. And I know Notre Dame's defense is just amazing, but I don't think that's a very risky bet. And obviously the odds on that aren't too bad at plus 152. So that's like an easy one I'll pick. I think he throws for 100 yards in each half at least.
Okay. I picked the first scoring play would be an Ohio State touchdown.
Okay, what were the
Plus 115.
Okay, that's good. Sure. 100 bet 100 $115. I
mean,
like that.
They're the favorite to win the game, so
Yeah.
I think it's a safe fish bet.
And they also Notre Dame's had slow starts.
Yeah.
And Ohio State's have hot starts. So that's a good bet. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love scoring 2 touchdowns or more at plus 800. Now, he's only scored 2 touchdowns or more in 4 games this season, and he's quote-unquote struggled the last 2 games because he's faced some really good defenses, rushing, I think, for under 70 yards or something like that in every game. But he's still got opportunities to score. He scored already in these last 2 games. And in the first playoff game, may I remind you, he broke off a 98-yard run for a touchdown, the longest run in playoff history for any team. So I'll take that at plus 800. I'd put $100 down to get 900.
Okay.
Why not?
The last one I picked was total number of touchdowns over under at 5.5.
Okay. Yeah.
Odds for the over was negative 113, and the under was negative 115. I picked the under. What do you think about that?
That's like a borderline thing.
Is that like a toss-up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a toss-up there.
I picked the under. I don't. But again, the betting language. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I would not.
I don't either. I don't really
hang on.
bet.
Disclaimer:
I don't never bet.
I would not put actual dollars on this. Please, nobody watching. This is not advice.
You'd be surprised at like how the experts, how wrong they are a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing you're trying to do at the end of the year is be above 500.
Okay, but so who are the experts that set the lines for Vegas?
Oh, they're geniuses, and they've got all kinds of data points and trends.
Because
And
they don't lose. That's like you said. The lights stay on in
that's
Vegas.
how they do it.
So
They
are those actual people that set the lines?
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Not like
there's
massive
like college
computer
football.
banks.
There's like a college football person. There's a NBA person. All that stuff. I'm gonna continue on the Jeremiah Love trend here. I've got him at plus 255 to rush for more than 70 yards in this game.
Okay.
I believe he's probably the second best running back in the entire country. But he hasn't rushed for 100 yards, or excuse me, over 70 yards since the first round of the playoff. But he's had quite a few big performances this season. And Ohio State's defense, I know, is what it is. But plus 255 really kind of tickled my fancy a little bit. All right, another one for Jeremiah Love, scoring a touchdown at any point, plus 135. And this
That'd be a good one.
was very interesting to me at plus 750, right?
Okay.
Quarterback Riley Leonard scoring in the third quarter.
Specifically the third quarter.
Yes. And the reason why I say that is because he's a running quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he scored most of his touchdowns. He scored 16 rushing touchdowns this year at quarterback, a Notre Dame record, right? His best rushing average in games occur in the third quarter. He averages 6 yards per carry.
Why
And
aren't
he
you
is-
working in the Vegas betting stuff?
Sure. And he has scored he scored 3 touchdowns in these 16 games in the
Okay.
third quarter. Also, Notre Dame is the best like middle 8 team in college football. What's the middle 8? It's that last 4 minutes in the first half, the first 4 minutes in the second half. That's when they perform at their best offensively and defensively. I like the opportunity there, and especially with those odds at plus 750, why not get that? Riley Leonard to score a touchdown in the third quarter. I like it.
Okay.
Okay, now when it comes to the game, first off, I'm just gonna you got a score prediction, and that's how we're gonna figure this out, whether it's over, under, and obviously the spread.
I don't have a score prediction, but I do have for under. I think. Put that down.
Great.
Oh, I did. I took the under.
Oh, you took the under at 46.5.
Yeah, I took the under.
I that's not a bad bet at all. Yeah. Two defensive teams. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so
I don't.
you don't have a score.
I don't have no because I don't like to lock myself into a score prediction, even though I know this is
Okay.
like whose line is it anyway. Rules are made up and the points don't matter
Yeah.
as far as what I predict. I just get nervous when I try to think about making an actual score prediction.
Okay. So
But I'm solid under.
solid under. What about Ohio State minus 8.5?
Okay, I don't know how to use the language, but I think they'll win by more than that.
Okay, so you got Ohio State covering.
Okay.
They're 8.5
Sure.
point
Yes.
favorite.
Ohio State will cover. Yes.
Okay, I'll just give you my final score prediction. I might waffle on this, and I've been tempted to. I've got Ohio State winning 28-21. Notre Dame covering the spread. Ohio State obviously winning straight up, and that being over the 46.5, obviously with 49 total
So we're
points.
opposite.
Having said that, I was talking to a colleague earlier on the phone today, and I was all like, I said 28-21 today, but I kind of think it's going to end up just being like 34-17, Ohio State. I don't know, but I've seen Notre Dame up close now, and I've been watching them so much more closely, including Ohio State. I've seen Ohio State in person too. Notre Dame's defense just dang good, man, up front, and I know they've lost their left tackle, and they lost their defensive tackle in the first round, their sacks leader, but man, they really came in play against Georgia and then Penn State. So I'll say Notre Dame covers for now, but Ohio State wins straight up. Ohio State's just
Put an
loaded.
asterisk on it.
Yes.
Subject to change.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
What's that time of evening?
Okay.
You ready?
I am ready. Are you ready?
I think so. All right. It's, what do you call this?
First and tee. First and tee, everybody. I'm so excited. I'm excited because the third installment of my current hyperfixation series is coming out the day after the national championship. So the day you come back home, I'm just going to wave at you and go back to my reading cave because Onyx Storm comes out on January 21st.
That's the Dragons?
That's the Dragons. Third installment in the Dragons.
Okay.
We get to find out if the main guy stays a bad guy. We get to find out more about the Dragons. It's a good time.
Sounds
Very
exciting.
Now into the tea that you're excited about. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if you've read much about this. Have you heard about Sydney Thomas?
Briefly. I don't even know who that person is.
I really don't know
I'm
much
guessing
about
an influencer.
her.
But
No.
I've heard about, I saw the headlines.
What do you know about
Obviously,
it?
it's something I wouldn't touch.
Well,
'Cause I'm a respected journalist.
and I'm not. So here we go.
Okay.
It involves Lane Kiffin.
How does it involve Lane Kiffin?
And I just want to say everything that involves Lane Kiffin with social media is just such a delight because that man is so unserious on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that
Oh,
assessment?
yeah.
Okay, Sydney Thomas was a student at Alabama. I'm not sure if she still is or not, but she was a student at Alabama. She is now a bird girl.
Really?
Yeah. She was a ring card girl for the Tyson Paul fight.
Oh.
Yeah, so we may have seen her, but we were watching on a tiny live stream on a phone.
On TikTok.
On
Because
TikTok, because-
Netflix
yeah.
stream was down.
Thanks, Netflix. An SEC coach slid into her DM.
That's what she says.
He says
That's what she alleges.
on a podcast that she was on a couple weeks ago, and the coach said,
In the DMs?
in the DMs. She won't say who it was. A couple days ago, she posts a picture of her and Nick Saban on a golf course. Says it wasn't him.
Well, Nick Saban does not have Twitter.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, but then the part where Lane Kiffin gets involved, he retweeted it. He retweeted Sydney Thomas and said, "Well, we have our answer."
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny. Now, did
He
she
just likes to be messy.
did she clarify it all? Did she say it was a head coach or was it just a coach in the SEC?
I watched the little clip from the podcast, and she just said a coach in the SEC. So
Well,
it could be literally anybody.
Be a quality control assistant
Right.
who's
It could be anybody.
18 years old or 19 years old, technically.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Well, more attention for her, I guess. That's what she wants.
You know?
She's an influencer and ring girl, and
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
it's gotten some headlines. Is it on TMZ?
I didn't look that far into it.
That's interesting.
I just saw it on USA Today.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin is very online.
He is very online. I've seen some TikToks like get ready with me with his daughter. Like those were always funny
That's
to watch. Cute, yeah. But he's just so unserious online.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm here for that too.
He's gotten. I think he's interacting with me a time or two on there. He just likes to retweet headlines and say something
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm here for it.
Sure,
You know,
I like it too. I like
people are
personalities.
people are so serious
Yes.
about football.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a fun thing that
Yes.
people can spend their time.
I agree.
Job, not coaches because it's their job. But for spectators, it's supposed to be fun, and coaches, I think, should play into that more. Like it's a fun.
Yeah. Some
have
do.
fun with it.
We need more personalities in the
Yeah.
sport, and we got quite a few right now, so that's good.
Yeah, Lane, keep it up. Like what you're doing out there.
Cool.
Be silly.
Be silly. Anything else with First and Tee?
No, that's all I've got this week.
Okay. Well, I'll sip on that and put some sugar on it. Sugar on me.
Okay.
Whatever. I don't know. So, yeah, that's it. National championships, very close.
Yeah.
And in Atlanta, there might be some news there too. Outside that, college football playoff folks that run it are meeting Sunday. My understanding is, and we'll be there trying to figure out what they're discussing about maybe expanding the playoff as soon as next year, changing the seating for the playoff, maybe eliminating the idea of the 4 highest ranked conference champions getting first round byes and all that stuff. There's some other stuff going on in Atlanta before the game, and then of course the game, and we got media day, and we're working on a bunch of stories. So,
Can you promise me this?
mm-hmm.
If you follow Ryan Day around post game,
Oh boy,
just make sure Lou stays safe. Protect Lou, please.
Yeah,
I'm begging you.
If you guys follow me on socials, I tend to follow a head coach around after a game just to see like what's going on and their interactions with people. And I followed Ryan Day around after that Michigan game during the fight, and he like just was like frozen. Like, and he's like, "What's going on?" You know. I tend to do that. So if you see me lurking, I lurked at the last game. I lurked behind Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, we saw you on TV.
Yeah,
that was
so
fun.
I like doing that. I like just getting the scene, especially in emotional moments like that. You know, I saw people crying, you know, wives crying, and longtime Notre Dame fans. It was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep Lou safe. Promise me now.
Okay.
Look in the camera and promise me.
I promise that I will keep
Lou
Lou Holtz safe.
Thank you.
And hopefully his leg heals.
Yeah. Get well soon, Lou.